Jam. And like we said last time, we've actually got the live chat going. So if you're joining in and participating, we want you to participate, ask us questions there, tell us what you like. But we're going to form the agenda real time here. So I know we have like a list of like whatever dozens of things we could be talking about. First, let me just wish you both a Merry Christmas. I know that Steve has come out with his hat to celebrate with us.
I'm being festive. I'm in the mood.
Merry Christmas to you guys. I'm sadly not Christmas adorned, but always represent my North for sure. So I got that.
So, how many of your have you guys had interactions over the holidays where you've had people curious coming to you about Bitcoin, asking you about, what is this thing? How does this work? Has that been part of your holiday experience?
Yeah, well, I gave some BitKey wallets as gifts, so that um, you know provokes the Bitcoin discussion. It's a little bit
Were,
about that. But although
were
I was
people
giving it to people, who already most of the people I gave it to already have Bitcoin, so they're already past the Bitcoin 101 stage.
okay? That's what I was going to ask. Is how many have you given a big key to somebody who didn't really know or understand what Bitcoin is yet?
I haven't, because I don't know if that's like the best starting
Right.
point.
Yeah. I actually had two interesting experiences. I have not pushed Bitcoin on people in a long time. In fact, I've actually kind of tried to avoid it for a variety of reasons. But I got a hand drawn card from my cousins, my primos. They're half Hispanic, so it's often in Spanish, which is cool. And one of them, who's like, I don't know, five, maybe 4 or 5, drew me a card that said Primo Max with a Christmas tree and Bitcoin on top of the Christmas tree. Now, it's both interesting and potentially problematic for many reasons, but that was cool. And then personally, what I've been pushing a little bit this holiday season with gifts, which both of you guys were recipients as well, as not as much on the Bitcoin front initially, although I think it's kind of a backdoor in. But to my good homies in the world, I'm trying to spread the gift and love of Kagi, the search engine. So that's which you can pay for in Bitcoin, and which is going to be indexing Oster soon. So that's been my subtle backdoor.
Awesome. I had a relative was asking me, he'd heard me talk about Bitcoin years ago, and he kind of followed up and he's like, hey, are you still into that? And what is that all about? And like, I want to learn about it a bit more. So we had a fairly in-depth discussion, and I felt like I feel kind of inspired to make some explainer videos, maybe sort of explaining some of the basics, because he was just asking questions like, what, this 21 million thing, how do you know that it's only 21 million, right? Things that we kind of take for granted, but really trying to decide how do you start that discussion with somebody, because like obviously I could send him bcap and be like, here's how consensus works and go learn about this, and then you understand all the players involved, but that's like almost too advanced. So like I was trying to think, I thought maybe I would ask you guys, like, how would you explain why 21 million is the cap and that it's not going to change?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like the BCAP project, Bitcoin Consensus Analysis Project, for those listening that aren't familiar with it, it's the advanced answer to that, but not where. I mean, even most Bitcoiners don't really have the patience to walk through it, let alone people new to Bitcoin. But I mean, the reality is it is a complicated answer. It's not. There's no simple answer. So I mean, the simple answer is that it's written in the software. Oh, someone's saying, "Is there no video this time?" Um, we see video.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
see video.
I
Let
see you
me
guys.
I see you guys.
Um,
I'm gonna go check on Twitter and confirm that that's streaming through. But yeah, go ahead with the answer.
cool. I mean, I think for someone new to Bitcoin, I think it would be the simple answer is it's written in the software code. There's tens of thousands of people around the world running the software code, and there's economic incentives to keep everyone consistent and in line. If so I could change the software on my computer to be 40 million or 100 million, or just grant myself 20 million coins. I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
No one can stop me. But then no one else on the network would be following those rules. So I'd be operating in my own little island. And I think that's the simplest answer. So that then, then it gets more complicated because, well, what if a large portion of the network changes the rules that way? And what prevents like governments or big company actors from doing that? And yeah, I don't know if there's a simple answer there. I mean, I guess the simplest answer is 16, 17 years in, it's not been done. We can look at history in 2017 with Segwit 2x and that situation in which 95% of the mining hash rate and many of the large exchanges and companies in the space wanted to do a change, and there was resistance, and it didn't go through. So there's actual factual history where um, it wasn't Bitcoin wasn't able to be redefined by big powerful companies, but that we also shouldn't assume that that one instance means that it's impossible in the future. Yeah, so I think that's the simple answer.
I think one place I would also just share something. I shared this link in the chat. It's a Stacker News thread that I really liked. I was just reading this morning. Bitcoin versus the world. How big is BTC's network compared to other large networks? And so Super Testnet breaks down like all these different networks, like the electricity grid, the internet, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we don't have to get into the exact specifics. He says the internet's about 66,000 ISPs, Bitcoin about 66,000. Interesting, that's the same number. Bitcoiners run nodes. I mean, as a very simple answer, one thing that I would just say is like, yeah, you've got 66,000 people, many of whom are plebs that have been in this for 15 years, and it's emergent from the bottoms up. Now, to your point though, Steve, like Segwit 2x had a lot of corporate power and money behind it. But like nothing on the scale. One of our topics we have in there today, which would be like BlackRock and the US federal government. So I think the short answer is it's an emergent phenomenon that would be really hard to recreate again or to hijack, just like the internet. But like on a long enough time horizon, I mean, it's certainly possible. And I think that's the reason we fought so hard to keep the block size so small. It's the reason it's so important that plebs or normal people are able to run, full nodes on their umbrellas and everywhere. And it's something I think we do have to be very vigilant with.
Cool.
And
I'm going to just pause for a second here. I want to mention, I think I screwed something up with the configuration. Jesse's correct that we are only streaming audio, and I don't think we can undo that unless we stop. And
Let's restart.
Let's restart. We're at the
Let's
beginning.
restart.
Okay. I mean, there's 140 people listening live on Twitter right now, so.
Hey guys, if you're listening to this, we're gonna restart and share the link on DK's Twitter. I don't know.
Please be patient.
Okay, thanks for your patience. We'll be back.